Oh my God, it's hot. I have to make corrections really fast because yesterday I came on here and I said that the Governor McGreevy, I said, child, I got caught in the sun this morning doing my walk. I went out at 5:50 instead of 6. Instead of 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, I got caught in the sun. Child, it's hot. All right. I said Governor McGreevy instead of, it was Governor Christie who was here during that time. So I wanted to make the correction. But Christie that I was making the reference to was here during the time that Commissioner Hicks was here. And I was saying that the current Commissioner Coons, was a director. Governor McGreevy was here during the time that I was incarcerated, and Governor McGreevy was here during the time that the women were incarcerated who were raped. And so was Governor Corzine, and so was Governor Christie Whitman. They all were here during the time when women were being physically assaulted, sexually assaulted, and having their rights violated. And none of them did jack. So all of them are culpable for what happened to the women. Was just before my time. When I got there, Governor Christie was there. Christie was there. So none of them are to be excused. I'm just making the correction because I said Governor McGreevy was there when I was there, and he wasn't. It was Governor Christie who was there. And at that time, the current commissioner, Victoria Coons, was a director, and she should have gone directly to the DOJ and directly to the Attorney General's office and reported what I directly said to her when she did a walkthrough, that they were raping us. I'd been raped by the time she did the walkthrough, and I told her that I was. Another inmate by the same person who raped me, she was sexually assaulted. He had been, asking her to expose her breasts to him. And so she could have reported that. She is now the commissioner, and she should not be. So I've already informed SID. She got rid of that person. I informed the current SID person. I'm not going to mention their names. I informed the current commissioner. I'm not going to mention her name. And she's still there. And now she done hired her friend to work as the administrator at Edna Mahan, Erica Stem. And so 2 peas in the pod. Look what's happened since then. And so the young ladies who have reported to me what's been going on at the prison that I've reported to now this to Murphy, I've reported what this commissioner has allowed to go on under her tutelage. Why is she still there now? So if you're not going to remove these people, if you're not going to remove these lieutenants, if you're not going to remove these sergeants and these officers, you're turning a blind eye like the ones before you did. Why are you still letting these people there? Because let's be clear about something. When I say I was in prison for crimes I didn't commit, and I'm a community activist, there are a lot of women that this happened to before I got there. And they let the people in charge at the prison know, and they buried it. They hid it. And that's what that lawsuit was about, that $22 million lawsuit that they settled. But it's still going on, and they're still doing the same thing. When I got to the prison in 2008, nothing really took off, and nobody really did anything until 2010, when the women and I started documenting these things. And there are a lot of women right now that started groups and started, making a big push until 2022. This thing, 2020, they made this big push under the current governor, and he allowed them to go back and institute this lawsuit if they were raped. But that all started, and I applaud him for that. Thank you for doing that. But that all started as a result of, in 2009 and in 2010, we, the women and I, started documenting every single solitary thing. So they've been reporting it, and they always knew about it. But in 2009 and in 2010, that's when we started documenting it. And when I say we, I mean I got the women in the prison. Yes, me. And yes, I'm going to take credit for it, because I got the women in the prison to start writing it up, to get their families to start calling, and I told them who to call, why to call them, what to say. We coalesced on those sons of bitches in that prison, because I've been a community activist for 20 years before I got in that prison, and I got the resume to prove it. So what used to happen is they'd write it up, and administration would, destroy the evidence or hide it, or not, it was documented, but they couldn't find it. So I only remember one of the ladies' names, but it's a lot of ladies out there, and they're still doing it right now. And they got in touch with somebody named Bonnie Kernes. And she did some things of what she did. And afterwards it took off, and they started doing what they're doing. And they have groups right now. Tia, I forget her last name. She's one of the ones. She's still out there right now. And they've been championing the cause since they left the prison. But they've been doing this since they left the prison. They became involved and became a community activist since they left the prison. And we all did that together since we were in the prison and since they left the prison. Golda Harris has been a community activist for 20 years before she got in the prison. And that's why I was able to coalesce with the women in the prison. And we'd be tearing that motherfucker up since 2010, so that they could not say that they did not know about it. You can ask any of them. We were in there with those grievances, writing it up, keeping our pink sheet, keeping our pink copy, because they were taking our documents. They were taking our the entire grievance. And I was saying to them, no, lady, you keep your pink copy. You make a copy of it. You send it home to your parents. So when they come in and they do a cell search, they were taking the ladies' pink copies and they were getting rid of them. So I had them take their pink copy, make a copy of it, and mail it home to their families. I was having them have their families call the governor's office. Yes, baby, this is what we were in there doing. We were writing the prosecutor's office. We were writing the governor's office. Hello, Miss Sheila Y. Oliver. Yes, that's us. We started that in 2009, 2010, baby. Yes, that's why they closed down ADSEG. Hello, Barney. We call him Barney, but his name is James Barnes. Yes, and they ran out of grievances. Because of us. I had every inmate in there writing everything. Showed them how to do it. Yes, that was me. That's why they can't stand my black ass this day. I showed those ladies how to be a community activist. And then they picked up on it. And they even got us all the other prisons and the men's prison, they had kiosks. They didn't have a kiosk for us. But, they got us a kiosk because they started running out of paper grievances. So that's why. It's not because they weren't complaining about it, but they weren't complaining about it the right way, and it wasn't being documented, and they were throwing away our stuff. So they'd have one little quiet lawsuit, two little quiet lawsuits, and the lawsuits that they had, they weren't for people who look like me. Wink, wink. And it poo-poo it away. So yeah, that's what. So here comes Governor Murphy, and then all of a sudden, Oliver Barry comes in, and he does a lawsuit for everybody except for the main instigator, and he left me out of the lawsuit. He picked everybody and did a favor for DOC since I was the main instigator, and he left me intentionally out of the lawsuit. So when I filed to intervene, they intentionally left me out of the lawsuit because I was the thorn in the side of everybody's side. That's okay. I got my own lawsuit. I'm not worried about it. I filed my own pro se. And then he did the deal so that if you had anything happen to you prior to 2014, and that was intentionally done, if you were raped or assaulted before 2014, the lawsuit didn't include you. Again, everything that happened to me before 2014. So me and any other woman that was raped or assaulted before 2014, this class action lawsuit does not help. So if you have been raped prior to 2014, the lawsuit that they had, the big class action lawsuit, did not help you. So they still fucked you. I wrote to the legislature about that, but it said that you can't do a class action lawsuit. So they did a class action lawsuit for the women who were raped. And that statute clearly says, if you were raped, you cannot do a class action lawsuit. So the women that I got to opt out of that class action lawsuit, I signed them up with a certain attorney whose name I will not mention at this time, and he better not fuck them over. Because I had to drop him as my attorney. But the women who signed up with him, he better not fuck them women over. Because now he cookie crunch with who, of all people? Barry Oliver. And that's why I had to drop him. Because he listening to Barry Oliver about my lawsuit. So I had to let him go because he a little too friendly with Barry Oliver, who fucked me over. But anyway, I just wanted to come on and make my corrections. Here I go with y'all on my computer again. Every time y'all hop onto my computer, it freezes me. FBI or whoever's watching my computer. But anyway, I'm gonna hop off because it's already 13 minutes, and I just wanted to make those corrections. But I applaud the ladies that are still out there doing it. But yeah, I've been a community activist for 21 years before I was put in prison for crimes that I didn't commit. I went to prison when I was 42. I started being a community activist, I believe I was 20 or 21. So when I got to prison, I was already doing it. So I was able to show the ladies. And some of them knew what I was talking about, and they understood what I was talking about and were able to pick it up and get their families involved. My family didn't give a damn about me, so they didn't help me. So other people's families, through the phone were able to say, okay, this is how we do it. And they're still out there doing it. So I'm always going to help the ladies. Some people are like, oh, you're out of prison. Why are you still helping? Because I've been in the system. I've been in the prison. I know what it's like. To all you need is a phone call for somebody to help you do something. I know what those snakes in that prison are like. And I know what they do to those women. And I know what it's like, what they tell people's family. And I'm always going to help the women in the prison. I'm always going to help them. Anyway, y'all have a nice day. Those are my corrections.